Life?
It's real life.
Is this real life? Hey guys, what's up? How y'all doing today? Welcome back to another episode of our martial arts talk. It's Coven, Kyle.
Yeah, I still don't give a crap about Conor McGregor fans. Me either. I like to watch the guy fight, but...
You couldn't help it. You couldn't help it, could
no,
you?
Still don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, you could not help it. Alright guys, well like we said, we've been coming at you with a hopefully a weekly episode this week.
Hey, with 2 weeks in a row, we're getting there, dude.
We're a day late, but that's okay. That's probably the gayest high five we've ever done.
Yeah,
ever.
probably.
But
and now this we're getting claimed as being bigots or something for you saying that. Way to go, bro.
I'm sorry if that wasn't politically correct. Anywho,
Still don't give a shit.
Topic at hand, we were going to talk a little bit about the fights that happened this past weekend, and then we were going to touch up on some fights that are going to be happening this coming weekend.
And we have the times and the days.
Yeah, actually correct this time.
Yeah,
we're not
we're
telling
not
you to
gonna
watch a
screw
fight
you
on
over.
Saturday when it's actually happening Friday. So
Yeah,
sorry
or-
about that.
Yeah, so...
I even made sure to write down
We're working
times.
out the kinks, you know. We have to get back to a level of professionalism.
Cat, don't you do it.
Even though I'm kidding.
I'll skin you.
All right, so first fight, we'll recap. Let's go ahead and knock out Bellator because it'll be the easiest ones, and
Okay.
it's going to be the ones that people don't have the most care for.
Yeah.
Not saying that we don't care, but it's just a general statement. You know,
You-
it's not as popular.
Not as many people know Bellator as well as they do other organizations. But
So Gegard Mousasi took out Rafael
you got this?
Carvalho.
No, Carvalho.
Carvalho. I'm sorry. Yeah, white dude from Arkansas. I'm sorry if I butcher their names. I'm working on it. Okay.
Yeah, Carvalho actually lost his belt to Mousasi in that.
Yeah, it
battle.
was for the middleweight championship. You know, I said it was going to be a tough fight. Ended up not being a tough fight. I still stand by my statement. You know, it could have played out 100 different ways. It just went that way that night. Mousasi came in. He looked great. He stopped him.
Yeah, he
Hats
won
off
in
to
like
him.
the first round with
First
strikes.
round.
It was impressive.
TKO. You know, it just goes to show. You know, this is a significant moment for Mousasi in his career. To talk about all them M's. You know, I'm glad to see it. This happened for Mousasi. They're talking about doing a super fight between him and Rory McDonald. Don't know how I really feel about that as far as the size disparity. I'll watch it most certainly.
It'll be a good fight.
It'll be an interesting
Yeah,
fight, but
regardless of the size comparison, it'll be a good fight.
yeah. And for all the MVP fans out there, you know, like I said, I don't dislike the guy. He's talented, but you know they've been cherry picking the matchups for him. This is how I saw this fight going down. You know, he styled all over David Rickles, and he got a stoppage. You know,
He actually made him stop. Like it was like a verbal, like I don't want to do this anymore. Rickles looked at the ref and was like, "Nah, fam, I'm good."
yeah,
Because
you
he
know,
punched him in the eyes so hard, but like his timing on that was it might have been a cherry picking fight for him, but like you can't deny his timing with that was fantastic. 'Cause
Yeah,
he
I
would
mean-
wait for him to come in with like a leg kick or a punch, and then just jump in with a jab, and dude busted open his eye. It was rough.
You know, the guy is tremendously talented, and I want to see him fight someone else who's tremendously talented. You know, I want to see him fight some stiffer competition. That's my main criticism of him.
Yeah, for sure. Really test him with that. But that was really the only two fights that I wanted to see with Bellator 200.
Yeah, I
Good
think
card.
those are the only two fights that I actually watched from that card. Not to rip on Bellator, but
No,
you know,
good stuff's happening for them. They're putting on some good
Yeah.
fights. They're entertaining, and that's really the gist of having a fight organization is to put on good and entertaining fights. So they're doing well.
Yeah, I've been watching Bellator since Eddie Alvarez was, you know, coming up. Roger Huerta knee bar and guys. I'm a fan of Bellator, and I like some of the fights that they're putting together. But at the same time, you know, it's really hard to get me off the couch, you know, proverbially to watch some of the matchups where I'm just like, you know what, I don't know who these guys are, and I'm not as interested, you know.
You're not giving them the chance, Kyle. You gotta get to know them. You gotta take that time and let that love blossom, man.
I work 2 jobs to do this as a side gig, man. You know, it's got to be really compelling for me to want to take off time from work to do this for free.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
But
that was Bellator. Oh,
yeah,
so
Bellator
UFC.
200. So UFC Liverpool, a lot of people were crying foul about the decision in the main event. Darren Till defeats Stephen Wonderboy Thompson by unanimous decision. I don't really see it as controversial. Do I think that Thompson won? I had it scored 48-47 for him. I gave him the second, and I gave Till the second and the fifth rounds, and I gave Thompson 1-3 and 4.
Yeah, I had the same scoring on that.
Not a whole lot to really, nitpick about that fight. Just
There's been more controversial fights for sure.
Yeah, neither guy really went out there and tried to get it. I mean, the most significant part of the whole fight was when Darren Till dropped Thompson in the 5th round, and this is the 3rd fight out of Stephen Thompson's last 4 where he's been dropped late in the fight. He has that kind of that tendency. It's whether it's his opponents are seeing something as the fight goes on or whatnot. He's not unfathomable on the feet. He got dropped by Jake Ellenberger. It's one of those things where guys have kind of started to figure out what they can do to get by him. And did I think Till lost? Yeah, but
they're figuring out his rhythm.
Yeah, the judges gave it to Till. I'm not going to complain about it. I thought the other guy won, but again, neither guy really did a whole lot to make a claim for it. So
I never get too bummed out when there's controversial endings, because then it's like, okay, another excuse for them to fight again. Let's do this.
Yeah, it's like we're saying. If you wanted to make a bigger case for it being a controversial decision, should have did a little bit more. And I know that's us armchair quarterbacking it from here on this couch, but I think there are a lot of people out there who would agree with that statement that either or should have did a little bit more if they wanted a clearer decision.
Yeah, I feel like that. If they wanted to really drop some draws, they could have worked a little bit harder. But I'm not the one in the octagon or anything like that. I don't know their game plans. I don't know what they had prepared for that fight at all. Either or, I'm not pissed off about the decision.
Yeah, Darren Till missed by 4.5 pounds, and
he missed by a lot.
I know it's officially, the limit was 171, but if I always look at it from the perspective of if it was a title fight, it's supposed to make 70 if it's a title fight. He came in at 74.5, 74.4, something like that. Was announced in the media shortly after that his pregnant girlfriend was sick, was in the hospital, so I imagine that can put a lot of mental strain on him. So not going to give the guy too much flack, but he's got to get the weight cutting thing under control, because there's nothing that pisses off people more than guys missing weight. Yeah, Dana White hates guys missing weight. And it's also not good for your bank account. If you get fined 20% of your purse and you do it 5 times, you just did a whole fight for free.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And I think it was Chael Sonnen who talked about that when it was Johnny Hendricks in that case.
But, he had a big issue with missing weight a lot.
Yeah, it's one of these things. These guys, hats off to Darren Till. He's skyrocketing him as far as his marketability, his standing in the rankings. Big loss for Stephen Thompson. He's got 1 win in his last 4 fights now.
He's going to have a make it or break it fight soon.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things where he's going to have to come out and he's going to have to wow some people if he wants to stay relevant in the top of the division.
Yeah.
Neil Magny.
Instead of just being a journeyman.
Yeah.
Neil Magny, that fight went exactly how I thought it was going to. I think he finished him in the 1st round.
Yeah, I think it was a TKO.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
It went exactly how I thought it was. But at the same time, I don't really know who Craig White was. I haven't really heard from him too much. And most of the time, not saying this is an exact science, but if you haven't really heard about him, probably not going to be the best.
It's one of
not
those
saying
things,
that it's always like that, but it happens.
Originally, it was supposed to be Neil Magny versus Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar Nelson didn't make it. They threw Brian, what was, I'm sorry, I don't even remember his name. Craig White?
It's Craig White, yeah. He came in on, I think it was a 24-hour notice or something like that. He just, they called him and hey, you want to do this fight? And he was like, yeah, sure, why not? Which props to that. If you can just get called and be like, hey,
I don't think it was quite at a 24-hour notice, but I know it was a short notice replacement. But, Neil Magny did what he needed to do.
That would be wild, though, if it was 24 hours. That would suck, though, having to get called and be like, hey, man, you want to fight in the morning? You're like, I'm 3 tequilas in right now. I'm good.
You're done. All right, so moving on to this coming weekend. Tomorrow night, because it's, Thursday night as of right now.
It's tomorrow night, June 1st at 9 o'clock p.m.
Which prelims, and I always give it from our time zone because everybody always has to figure out, or we always have to figure it out, is based on the East Coast, West Coast time zone. So you're going to have the Fight Pass prelims around 5:30, FS1 prelims around 7, and then the main card around 9.
Yeah.
So that's for us here, and in Arkansas, in our central time zone.
I'm actually really excited about this fight. I want to see both of the co and the main event. I like Jimmy Rivera, and I like Marlon Moraes. How do you pronounce the last name?
Pretty sure it's Moraes. Again, forgive us for the language
the name
barrier
butchering.
here.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. Jimmy Rivera to me, he just seems like a really solid wrestle boxer. His background's kickboxing, and you can see he's got really tight punches. His striking is very accurate, but he knows when to shoot for a double or shoot for a takedown when the moment's right. He's all around really good. I like him. I think his record right now is undefeated. He's like 11-0 or 10-0 or something like that. No,
he's
wrong guy.
like
21-0. Sorry.
He's got a loss in his early part of his career, but he is on a long win streak. He's 5-0 in the UFC.
Yeah.
He's beat Uriah Faber, beat Thomas Almeida, which that was a really fun fight. Beat Yuri Alcantara, which was the fight of the night when that happened. Moraes, he was the World Series of Fighting bantamweight champ, which is now Professional Fighters League, whatever. Knocked out Aljamain Sterling with a beautiful knee.
Yeah.
He was throwing a kick and Sterling leaned into it and it caught him. I mean, perfectly timed.
I just watched
stunning.
That today.
It was
sick.
It was a brutal knockout. These guys have been talking some mad stuff to each other for a while now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a barn burner, dude. It's gonna be a good fight, regardless of if you know or familiar with either of the dudes. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah. Plus, it's bantamweight. Those little dudes, like any fight that's in the lower weight classes is always exciting because they're so small and fast.
Yeah, Moraes has got some really nasty kicks. He's got some really sharp hands. Comes from that Eddie Alvarez, Frankie Edgar, Mark Henry background. Real sharp, clean strikes, good power, good speed, some pretty good footwork. Puts it all together very well. Moraes' fight versus John Dodson was a little on as far as like how you could have scored it, but I'm really happy with this matchup. Ideally, I could see the winner of this fight fighting the winner of Dillashaw and Garbrandt.
Oh yeah,
I very much like that idea. That's in my perfect world. As far as looking down the rest of the card, Gregor Gillespie has a lot of hype behind him.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch him fight. That's gonna be dope.
Yeah. Walt Harris, he's a big athletic guy. He hits pretty hard. Jake Ellenberger and Ben Saunders should be a really fun matchup. Yeah, that'll be good. Couple of journeymen. Ben Saunders has been around for forever.
I haven't seen Jake Ellenberger fight in a minute.
He's been dealing with
some shit,
some losses. Yeah. I like Jake Ellenberger a lot though. The first time I saw him fight was when he fought Carlos Condit back in like 08, 09, and that was an amazing fight. I've always been a big fan of his. He's been on some tough times, so I really hate to see him lose. As me being a fan of his style, just that that real big, aggressive puncher.
Yeah, and fighting Ben Saunders is a possibility.
Well, Saunders has been taking a lot of knockout losses as of late. He got knocked out by Alan Jouban, got knocked out by a cat whose name I cannot remember at the moment in time. I'm sorry, he's been laid out a few times as of late. I'm not trying to be rude, but
no, but it's a possibility for Jake to lose a fight. Like anybody can lose a fight,
it's possible for both of them to lose. But as far as if I was to make a pick, I'd have to side with Jake Ellenberger.
I think I'm going to pick with Ellenberger too.
It's a partly the mindset kind of thing to where it is a good matchup for him. I mean, Saunders is a rangy, good clinch striking kind of guy. He has the clinch capability to stop Ellenberger, similar to the way Mark Campman did it. But at the same time, I'm just really worried about Saunders, having gotten a little bit older, taking a little bit too much damage, and Ellenberger hits like a freight train.
Yeah.
They call him the Juggernaut.
Saunders' chin's getting a little weak. Now, if I had to pick for any of these cards on at least the main card of any of the fights, I want Ellenberger to win, I want Gillespie to win, and then I want Rivera to win. Those are my picks for that one.
This is another one of those matchups where it's really tough. I don't want to see either Rivera or Moraes lose, but
who you got?
You know what? Just for the heck of it, I'll pick Moraes. Just
to play devil's advocate.
Just to see.
I like it. Give us your guys' thoughts on that too. By the way, if you guys whoever pick you guys got, put it on their comment list below or whatnot.
Yeah, there's some real fun fights on this card. I mean, not a whole lot going on as far as contendership outside the main event, but there's some really fun matchups. Gian Vellante and Sam Alvey will be kind of a fun little sluggers fight.
Yeah, it's a light heavyweight.
Yeah, well, Alvy's really kind of just a one-punch counter guy. You know, he's got a really good counter right hook, and that's really all I can honestly say about him. And Volante's kind of that East Coast kind of tough dogfight kind of guy, you know, fighting with Matt Serra and Ray Longo, punch a hole in his chest. You know, it'll be a fun little fight unless it isn't.
Pretty good.
Sinjara Eubanks and Lauren Murphy should be an interesting fight. Both girls coming off that women's flyweight season of The Ultimate Fighter. Sinjara Eubanks was supposed to fight in the finale, but couldn't do it because of weight cutting issues.
And that's on the preliminary card.
Yeah, these fights that I'm talking about now are going to be on the Fox Sports 1 prelims. Nick Linson, David Tamer. I really like David Tamer. He's looked really good as of late. He looked great against Lando Venata, and he fought smart against Straka Klose, even though Klose was kind of being a douche, and it's like, oh, I'm coming towards you, bro, but I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
You know, just failing to utilize his wrestling really well. Bella Muhammad's an interesting cat. I don't know the guy he's fighting. Desmond Green and Gleison Tebow. Tebow's been around forever, so I'm always glad to see him fight, but Green will probably get this one. Jessica Aguilar and Jody Escobar on the Fight Pass prelims. That should be a pretty interesting matchup. I like Jessica Aguilar. She's a pioneer of that weight class for the women's MMA, or for women's MMA. But Escobar could take it. I don't know. I'm going to side with Aguilar into that just because, you know, I like to see the old school vets get some wins.
Dude, I'm actually really stoked for this fight card tomorrow.
It's a fun card.
Yeah, it's fun. Real fun. It's not like, oh my god, stacked, you know what I mean? But it's got a lot of really good matchups and a lot of smart matchups. I think it's going to be an interesting little card to watch. I'm more excited to see this than I am Glory this weekend, to be fair with you.
Yeah, it is a fun card. There's some well put together matchups on here. Not every card is going to be fantastic and action packed, but this one has got the potential to be a really fun, just kind of like slobber knocker matchups, and it's got a really good main event as far as something that compels you for title contention. Gonna go ahead and move over to Glory.
And remember, this is gonna the main card starts at 9 o'clock on Fox Sports 1. That's for the UFC Fight Night 131. Be sure
or
to check
UFC Utica. Check out hashtag UFC Utica on Twitter, Facebook. You'll probably find some more information. 5:30 for us on the Fight Pass prelims. 7 o'clock for us on the Fox Sports 1 prelims, and 9 o'clock for us on the Fox Sports 1 main card. I say for us because I'm tired of always having to cater to the East and West Coast. I live in the Central.
Hey, be nice. Okay, be nice.
I can't help it. I'm kind of mean. The Glory card. I'm just going to touch up on a couple of matchups here because, you know, it's even tougher to kind of follow Glory. They don't have cards as often as they do have a lot of guys from all over fighting, so there's not a whole lot of names on here. The Gregorian brothers are fighting, Matt Marat and Harut. Daniel Olunga is a pretty fun guy on the Super Fight Series, which will be on UFC Fight Pass. The time zone on this is a little tough because I know
it's real weird. They're doing it. It's like if you're, it's like at 2 o'clock Eastern time and then 11 o'clock basically in the morning if you're Central.
Yeah, and as far as where the actual televised portion will be, it'll be on ESPN News, the main card. Which, according to what I'm reading on ESPN.com, ESPN News has it from 4:30 to 6:30, so you can check that out there. I'll say again, ESPN.com. Check out the Glory TV.
And this will be Saturday
section. Yeah, this is Saturday, so it'll be early afternoon Saturday into early evening Saturday. Rico Verhoeven is in the main event. He's the king of kickboxing. Yeah, he's defending the heavyweight title. He's already beat Brestovich. I'm just pronouncing his last name because that looks like the easier two. Again, I'm working on it. I'm sorry. I'm not.
What's his last name?
Brestovich.
Brestovich?
Brestovich.
Just call him Bresty.
No,
that's. So anyway, Verhoeven. He's already beat this guy. Not to say, that completely excludes him from the chance, but I'm siding with the logic and past matchup and just Verhoeven's status right now. Should be a solid decision win for him, maybe a stoppage. He should be able to kind of freestyle on Brestovich here. Always good to see Rico Verhoeven fight. If you have never seen Glory Kickboxing and you're just hearing about it here, please check it out. Again, ESPN News, UFC Fight Pass, follow us on the Facebook and Twitter pages. You can direct message us, tweet at me on Twitter at Martial Art Talk. I'll fill you in. Anything and everything you need to know.
Fast-paced, like high combat. It's awesome. You guys will like it.
And if you're wondering about the time zones, the airing of this, they cater to the local audience as far as like where the fight card is being broadcast from, and it's in Birmingham, England. So, you know, those guys need some love too, as far as like catering to them on the time zones for fight cards on occasion, because a lot of these major organizations will cater to U.S. audiences, and that can be pretty annoying, you know, for the international crowd who's like, why am I watching this fight card at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
it's good to see them kind of, you know, be fair to the international
scene. Why am I watching this fight card at 3 a.m., Kyle?
But co-main event, Harut Grigorian and Alim Nabiev.
Another title defense also.
For the Glory welterweight title. Harut is, you know, he's been around for a long time. He's fought some really great guys. Jacked up. Oh, God. Give me a second. I don't want to butcher his name. Murthel Groenhart took the title from Murthel Groenhart in his last fight. There was a really controversial ending to their fight back in 2017, where a lot of people thought that Groenhart sucker punched Harut. Defend yourself at all times. That's kind of my motto on it. You know, if you didn't want to get punched, you shouldn't have turned your back and you should have had your hands up.
Can we just take a moment and just acknowledge that his name sounds like Groot? That makes me real happy. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. It just Harut. It's a cool name, okay? Anywho.
But, you know, if you're really interested in kickboxing, I recommend you check this out. You know, if you're kind of on the fringe and you don't really know what to make of it, check out the card tomorrow. UFC Fight Pass in the early afternoon. ESPN News for the main card. Check it out. You won't regret it.
You won't regret it. You be sure to go watch these.
I'm going to punch you in the face. You won't regret it. Just, you know, give it a chance. Give it a watch. Let me take a sip of water before my mouth gets any drier.
Oh.
You're going to enjoy it, and if you don't, I don't have to give you any apology whatsoever. It's not my job.
It's like boxing, but with your feet.
Shut up.
I've got tons of these. I write them down. I got tons. Let's do this.
All right, so
I think that's all of the fights that are happening this weekend. Like Friday we got the UFC card, and then Saturday's the Glory card. And other than that, it's pretty much quiet everywhere else.
I can't think of any big name recognition boxing matches that are going on. There might be some minor organizations doing some fight out there. If I find them, I'll tweet them out, give them some love. But let's talk about Michael Bisping for a moment, because the former UFC champ.
You want a meat biscuit?
Former UFC middleweight champion Michael Bisping, second season The Ultimate Fighter, 205-pound Ultimate Fighter winner. You know, for the second season, got all sort of jumbled up there. Called it a career. You know, his vision is not getting any better, and he's achieved everything he could have hoped to achieve in the sport. He won the title, defended it. Hats off to the guy. I remember the first time I saw Bisping fight. It was UFC 89, and he beatboxed Chris Lieben, pointed him out, struck him for 3 rounds. You know, hats off to him. I can't say enough about the guy and what he did for the sport in the UK. Being a great ambassador, being one of the original trash talkers. You know, defied all odds, and despite the losses he had, you know, never gave up. Took that fight against Luke Rockhold on short notice. You know, I think it was 2.5 weeks, something like that, maybe 11 days. I can't quite remember. Stepped in there, knocked Luke Rockhold out, defended the title against Dan Henderson, avenged his most brutal loss. You know, hats off to the guy. He lost to GSP, lost to Kelvin Gastelum, but he had the heart of a fighter. You know, he always was willing to fight, and, you know, I can't say enough good things about him.
And if you ever need your Bisping fix, he's doing announcements for, I think, like the smaller fight cards and stuff now, too.
Oh, he's big staple on Fox, you know, big contributor to the scenes. You know, again...
He's a good commentator. I like his commentating.
I really enjoy it. I think he's fantastic at it.
And I like him, you know, say what you want about him, but, I mean, he got kicked about a lot. He got knocked out big by Dan Henderson, but he never gave up. He climbed his way up, and he had his moment with that belt. You know, he had his time as the reigning champion in the middleweight division. So kudos to Michael Bisping, the Count, We salute you.
I'm gonna miss him.
Hats off to Michael Bisping,
Yeah.
Hall of Famer for sure. He was kind of like the Rudy of that division. He just never gave up, always fought when needed to, took chances, took risks. I salute you, sir. Best of wishes to you and your family as you move on to the next part of your career.
Oh, yeah.
In some other wild news,
So when I first heard this, I didn't know what it was for, and I chuckled just because of who they are and just go ahead and tell them. Sorry, just go.
All right, so Nick Diaz was arrested this past week on domestic violence charges. We're not saying he's guilty. We're not saying he's innocent. We are stating some things that happened. He made bail. He is out on bail, as far as it was related to domestic strangulation. Got picked up. Took a lot of cops to bring him in. The UFC made a statement saying if any of this turns out to be true, it obviously violates their UFC Fighter Code of Conduct policy. So we're going to have to wait and see how this goes. Someone close to Nick Diaz said that the chick was a stalker. Other than that statement from someone close to Nick Diaz, we don't know anything else about that. Me personally, I don't think anybody should just be choking women. So, it's regardless of how much of a stalker she was, it doesn't give you the right to choke her. I'm not going to defend anybody.
You're right. It
I'm
just
not going
caught
to
me
defend
off
people
guard.
assaulting women. It's
No,
regardless of the situation.
To clarify what I earlier said, though, when I first heard that Nick Diaz got arrested...
just laughing about domestic
No,
violence.
see, I didn't know it was about domestic violence. I just heard one of the Diaz brothers got arrested, so I just assumed it was pot-related. I don't know why, I just assumed that, and I just kind of chuckled, because, I don't know, it was one of those things. Not that I think or find any of that funny. It's not. Stalker or not, it's not funny.
Yeah,
but
it's going to be one of those things. We don't have all the details. I personally haven't seen like a set court date or anything for it, so until, innocent until proven guilty,
But it was worthy enough for us to throw in our little news segment.
Yeah,
for sure.
fan of the Diaz bros, but they do have that wild Stockton boy kind of mentality.
That's why I like them.
If this turns out to be some hubbubaloo and it was all for naught, I don't want to have, crucified the guy in a public statement.
Yeah, I'm not trying to drag his name through the mud or anything like that. We're not
there's
saying
too
that.
much of that going on these days. Innocent until proven guilty. Let the courts handle it, see what happens there, and report on it once we have something definitive.
In all fairness, if somebody were to hear that I heard that I got arrested, they'd probably chuckle too, just because of who I am. So that's really why I laughed about it.
Well, this comes on the tails of Nate Diaz getting into a fist fight with Clay Guida at another promotion. So these guys, they have a fighter mentality,
I love them. I love the Diaz brothers. They crack me up.
I like the Diaz brothers. Their fans can be really annoying sometimes.
I never pay attention to people's fans too much. I don't really pay attention to a whole lot of people, period, but I just ignore it.
I'm pretty sure at some point during us sitting here filming this, you were thinking, I like kittens.
Yeah, nobody's ever going to take us professionally.
You mean seriously?
Either or. Either or. But that was really all the news that I had this week. I haven't really seen anything else that really struck my eye besides, just normal weight class stuff going on and different, things of that nature.
There was a fun Fight Companion podcast for that UFC Liverpool card. If you like to hear Joe Rogan and the fellas get around, it was Joe, Eddie Bravo, Brendan Schaub. They had some nice, fun conversation. Joe Rogan talked about why he stopped doing the Fox TV cards for the UFC because they were wanting to tell him how to do commentary and not wanting to pay him.
I admire
right.
that, though. I admire that. That's cool of him to just be like, no, I'm going to do me. Thanks,
People can say whatever they want about Joe Rogan, but I will always be a fan. The guy has been such a good impact for the sport. If you don't like him for whatever reason, I don't care.
I'm pretty sure he don't either.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't give a shit either.
But, guys, that's pretty much, I think, all we had on our little agenda for tonight. It was a good episode. I feel like this was a good
As always, follow us on the Facebook page, Martial Arts Talk Facebook page, which is where this is streaming from. Go figure. Follow us on the YouTube channel, Martial Arts Talk YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter, JimKraken93. Follow us on Twitter at Martial Art Talk. We will try to keep you as informed as possible as we find out any breaking news. And if there's anything in particular you want us to talk about, send it to us. We will do our best. Otherwise, we're just going to do us, and if you don't like it, I don't care.
I'm pretty sure if we don't talk about Conor McGregor in the next episode, your mom might have a stroke. So,
again, I don't care. Unless the guy puts his name on the dotted line saying he's going to fight, I don't care.
Well, guys, it's been fun, fight fans. Y'all stay frosty.
Stay gold, pony boy!
It's been Coben.
Kyle.
Peace, you guys.
And the mom.